Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So my name is Hairui. I'm working at the University of North Dakota. So along with my doctoral students, we were presenting our ongoing projects that try to integrating three different teaching styles in sport education model. So I will leaving the majority of the presentation to Wei. So because she's doing all of those implementation works. So Wei, it's your time. Let's go. Let's try to share our project.
Thanks for having us. Let me get started with background information. So we use sport education to run our class. Sport education, known as a student-centered pedagogy model, introduced by Dr. Sidentop in 1990s, seeks to develop students who are competent, literate, and enthusiastic about sports. And this model emphasizes realistic sports season in class, stable team, record keeping, and a festive environment, ultimately culminating in final competition or celebration. And students have different roles in their team, such as captain, coach, equipment manager. And several research point to the importance of instructional quality among student coach. For example, Wellhead know that inadequate demonstration and error diagnosis hamper peer teaching. Arroyo found that limited error correction and task adjustment skill also reduce effectiveness. Meanwhile, Herman and Forrest show that student coaches thrive when they have stronger sport-specific knowledge and leadership quality. And recently, as a belt, indicate that higher skilled student coach dedicate more time to coaching, about 15% versus 10%, and excel at refereeing, providing cues, feedback, and demonstrating tasks. And some research about student coach training just highlight how important it is. And research by Rojo and Hasty provide a progress pace to help student coach establish coaching skill and experience. For example, they start with a modeling teacher instruction, pre-lesson meeting, holding coach corner, and then lesson reflecting on their instruction and incorporating plan sheets. And research by Farisis emphasize active engagement, problem solving, and discovering. Hasty underscored that we still need more research into how students interact with game-based tasks and design, and what pedagogical strategy maximize effective technical instruction, both from teachers and from student coach themselves. So to frame our instructional intervention, we draw on the spectrum of teaching styles, which capitalize teaching behavior is a chain of decision making. And this decision occurred before, during, and after instruction, made by both teacher and learner. Within the spectrum, we see varied approach such as reciprocal, learner design, and learner initiated, each offering different pace towards cognitive, social, physical channel development. So our primary question, how do different teaching styles, specifically reciprocal, learner design individual program, and learner initiated approach within sport education impact students' motivation, game performance, and skill proficiency? So we recruit 36 undergraduates across modern physical education class, such as badminton, table tennis, and volleyball. We use the pre and post intervention design over 8 weeks, ensuring informed consent and IRB approval. Each participant engaging the sport education season with different teaching style intervention. What we want to point out is that this is an ongoing project, and we are continue collecting data the upcoming fall of 2025. Here's a brief overview of 8 weeks lesson plan and data collection. So over 8 weeks, we integrate 3 teaching style into weekly training session. We are focusing on lesson 7 to lesson 15. So each style was introduced, practiced, and then integrated into team regular routines. We simultaneously collecting data from their motivation, game performance, and skill proficiency. And here are some simple diagram to briefly show how we conduct the skill test. In volleyball, we measure their setting and forearm pass. And in table tennis, we measure their forehand drive and forehand attack. And in badminton, we measure their French clear. So let's zoom in our team practice lesson. Usually on Friday, before they start training, they will decide their coach role for next week and let the coach provide their lesson plan for next week. And they will by apply different teaching styles. And then goes to Monday, they will have team practice by apply different teaching style. Goes to Wednesday, it's pre-game season. They have different opportunities to practice as a referee, as a player, and also they have chance to modify their task based on the game result. And then go to Friday again, they will practice again. And also by the end of the Friday, they will decide the coach role for next week. So that's kind of the flow how we conduct team practice session. So let's break down also all those three teaching styles into to see how they actually integrate into our class and also how our students respond to it. First is a learner-initiated style. It also called style J. Students themselves takes lead by identifying their needs and designing their practice content. So we provide coach leading question 1. Those are a series of open-ended questions to unveil students' performance goal. For example, what specific skill do you want to improve in this week? What skill do you find most crucial for winning a match? What aspect of the skill do you feel needs improvement, etc.? So we expect that by answering those questions, our students are able to identify their needs, and this encourages them to discover solution, fueling autonomy and intrinsic motivation. Here's an example how we prompt learner-initiated thinking. So in this case, he is a coach for next week, and he's a learner. Let's see how he responds. Also, in this case, we ask the question, what kind of drills do you want to practice next week?
I think the face.
Yeah.
Angle of the face really shows them. Because movement, I think I'm getting better at. Full arm, it's just the angle of the face. That's what it is. Not doing this.
Maybe the balance is not that clear, but this player, he was reflecting himself. He mentioned he's getting better at the forehand drive, but he still need more practice on paddle control. And this conversation lets the learner steer their own progression. So after student coach gather all the information, they're going to work on the training plan design. That's where learner design individual program come in. It emphasizes learners' independence in discovering a structure to resolve a problem. So we provide coach leading question 2 and task sheet. So the coach leading question 2 are used for student coach. They're going to ask themselves, what goals does your teammates want to achieve in this session? How do they match the skill you're trying to improve? And what skill or strategy did you team find difficult? And how can you create drills to improve them, etc. So we expect that by answering those questions, by asking themselves, our student coach are able to reorganize all the information they gather from their teammates and then to filling out the task sheet. So it gives learners the primary responsibility and also structure tool for designing their activities. They develop the performance criteria, troubleshoot issue, and refine tasks. This fosters deeper problem-solving skill and engage them in continuous improvement. Here is an example from our volleyball class from student coach. So after identify their goals, coach and learner kind of collaborate on the task sheet. And the coach role in here is more of a facilitator, helping refine these activities, but primarily let the learner take control. So all of those task sheets are designed from our student coach. And after student coach finish all the training plan design task sheet, they're gonna get ready for the practice in class. That's where reciprocal style come in. It also called style C. Emphasize social interaction, reciprocation, consistently receiving and giving feedback, immediate feedback. So in our study, we introduce a new role and new relationship during our team practice session. We have student coach and learners. Student coach work as a teacher to deliver instruction, and the doer, when doer perform the practice, the observer watch and provide feedback based on the task sheet provided by student coach in advance. And the coach oversee the whole process, but mostly offer feedback to the observer. So this circle of peer support fosters accountability and shared learning. And here's an example in our volleyball class. So she is a coach, and she is a doer, and he is a observer. So it's great to see that everybody engaging to the team practice session. And in this session, we begin with learner-initiated goal setting, move to learner design task, and then let reciprocal teaching style unfold within each team. This progression ensures continuous engagement, problem solving, and peer feedback. In a short summary, we are focusing on team practice session to support. So we provide coach leading question to support student coach in designing training plan and task sheet structure to support them in team practice implementing. And for feedback delivering, we provide triad relationship. We introduce triad relationship to reinforce their feedback behavior. In terms of data collection, we capture all team practice on GoPro camera, transcribe them for analysis, and triangulate it with a weekly training plan and research file notes. For quantitative measure, we measure their game performance, sport-specific skill, and their psychological need status in sports, with modification that cover autonomy, competence, and relatedness in their team practice. And let's get to see the results. We observed significant improvements in their autonomy, competency, and relatedness from pre to post intervention. This underscores how this learner-centered teaching styles can enhance students' psychological needs, align with the self-determination theory perspective. And across all three sports, participants show significant gains in both skill proficiency and game performance. For example, we measure their forehand drive and forehand tag in table tennis. The skill test score improved significantly, so does game performance. And this pattern was similar for badminton and volleyball. As for regression, because we haven't finished data collection yet, so we don't have the answer, but we do plan to run regression in the future because we want to see how those teaching styles predict changes in their motivation, skill, and performance over time. At the end of the presentation, we would like to extend our thanks to the Spectrum of Teaching Style for funding support and the UND Sport Exercise Credit Classes Director for facilitating our data collection. Their assistance was crucial to the success of the study. And here's a some photo example from our award ceremony, and those mascot design from our students, and that's a real mascot to reflect the sport education features. And here's some reference to support our study. Thank you for your time today. We hope this finding encourage more exploration into learner-centered strategies like reciprocal, learner-initiated, and learner-designed teaching styles. And we'd love to discuss further questions and we'll welcome any feedback. Here are some team ID example from our class. Thank you so much.